It's really
All
just,
righty, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch. Liquid Lunch is brought to you every single day on Biz TV, Biz Talk Radio, and also the Money Station out in Portland, one of our new affiliates. Thanks for joining us. Dow up 80 at 31.5, holding steady there. I guess this whole stimulus package is going to keep Mr. Market calm. Overstock.com 107, still feeling very strong. And Bitcoin poked its head above 50,000 this morning or late last night, but now down a bit at 48.4. So we're keeping our eye on that one. And every Tuesday, we're joined by my good buddy Dan Hernandez from Milestone Capital. Hey, Dan, how you doing today?
I'm good, John. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm kind of surprised how the market's holding up because, I'm looking at gas prices going up.
Yeah, it's
Some other stuff, and it's
yeah,
kind of holding.
yeah. I mean, you hit it earlier. It's stimulus. It's the stimulus that's already happened. It's the expectation of more stimulus. It's earnings. I mean, look, it's going to be an interesting spring because everybody's year-over-year earnings are going to be up 20-30%. So the market's going to have to sift through that and see, what's doing well and what's just, recovering from the pandemic. But I'm cautiously optimistic about the next couple months, for those reasons.
Dan, over my career, I worked for a couple of public companies, right? And, public companies have all these wacky gap accounting standards and all this other stuff. And coming from an entrepreneurial background, I, used to sit in these budgetary meetings and these pro forma projection meetings and say, come on, man. You like, tell me what number you want in the bottom right, and we'll have some fun with numbers here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like
Yeah.
a lot of gamesmanship. But the one thing why I did some PR with the numbers was, like you said, these companies are going to be reporting 20-30% up year over year. But many of them were down like 50% year over year. So you got to go back 100 just to get even. So are they really doing well, or are they just doing marginally better than the pandemic?
Well, that's going to be the challenge because all these companies are going to have expected earnings, and you know that when the street expects certain earnings, and then the market kind of bases everything on those expectations. Earnings are good. Are they above expectation, below expectation? So that's going to be priced in somewhat because you're right. And like I said, everybody's going to be up a ton. So it's just a matter of sifting through that and see what up a ton really means. Does it mean we're doing well? Does it mean we're crawling back? But look, the bottom line is people are spending money. So I think retail numbers have stayed strong throughout this, and what you're going to have coming up is just more things opening up. And Philly again. I think Jersey's up to 50% indoor dining. Assuming that there's certain ventilation uh, requirements.
I've been to Jersey, my friend. A lot of those restaurants are way over 50. They're pretty
Nobody's
crowded.
counting. Yeah, no, nobody's counting. But that's at least the legal number. PA, I think Philly just went up to 35%. So that's going to keep happening nationwide. In a couple of weeks at this time, I'm going to be in Miami, and I'll report from down there. But we know what's going on in Florida. They're wide open. But my point is, it's just going to mean more and more people working. Employment number is going to get better. Therefore, earning number is going to get better. I think we're going to see the travel and leisure sector start to pick up as we approach summer. So I think there's a lot of positives short term. Now you're right, gas prices are going up, and ultimately that can be that can be a deterrent to some market movement. But the positives are, there's just going to be a whole lot more people working. Earnings are going to continue to get better. So if you're weighing the positives and the negatives, negative is increasing gas prices. Probably still the fear of income taxes, but that's not going to be till 2022. Positives, more people working, more people traveling, more people spending, and that's gonna and more stimulus probably coming.
Yeah, I recently was in Florida, and I'm laughing because, You got restaurants at 25%, 35%, 50%. I'm getting on a plane, it's 100% packed, and you're like a foot away from
Yeah,
the guy, not even a foot away from the guy. So it's
yeah, that's
strange.
okay. That's all right.
One of the places where I do think there will be some good growth and some opportunity, like you said, is in the whole travel and leisure space, because people have been cooped up for so long. As soon as they loosen up some regulations, I think people are going to be looking to fly away, get out of their state, get out of the country, do some things. And I think there might be some opportunities there.
Yeah, a lot of the leisure stuff. Two kind of different sectors because you have the airlines, but a lot of the cruise lines, they had a bump in the fall, and they've been kind of flat here lately, just kind of waiting to see what happens. In that leisure sector, I would put cruise lines, I would put hotels, and they've been a little flatter. Airlines have been doing a little better. But yeah, people are starting to fly. I think there's still a little trepidation about cruises, but I think that'll loosen up as well, and probably a little later. Probably not until the fall, but I think come spring and summer, I think you're going to see airlines reporting 30, 40, 50% increases from this time last year, which again, all it's doing is catching them up and making them close to even. But it's still going to be, it's a necessary boom, and it's what they need.
Yeah, I'm seeing people post pictures on like Facebook and social media. Gas prices like nibbling up to $3. I guess
Yeah.
the signal to the rest of the world, Joe Biden going to shut down the Keystone Pipeline, so they already know they could start jacking us. That's going to
Yeah.
hurt people's disposable income right there.
Yep. Oh yeah. No. And look, summers usually have higher gas prices just by normal increased demand. And now you're going to have that demand really increasing on top of the closing of the pipeline. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are leading to gas prices going up significantly here over the next few months.
What do you
So,
think? I'm in New York. You're in New Jersey. I'm down in Florida. Everywhere I turn, there's somebody from New York or New Jersey. I'm sitting in a bar down there with a couple of business associates. The guy next to me is from Tom's River. The two ladies over here are from Brooklyn. Everybody from New York and New Jersey is flocking down to Florida, it seems.
yeah, yeah, and California people are going to Texas. Uh, they want to get out of high tax states, primarily, and without getting real political, but they're leaving Democratic states to go to these states that seem to be a little more open, a little more business friendly, less taxing. So yeah, that's going to continue. I don't see how that does not continue.
Yeah, and this guy Ron DeSantis, in the beginning of it, the liberal media was crushing him. He's a killer. He doesn't care. He's irresponsible. He's reckless. But meantime, their hospitalization rate and death rate is lower than most of the blue states.
Yeah. Maybe he should go the Cuomo route and write a book and start doing daily press conferences. Maybe he'll win an Emmy. But no, you're right. I mean, he was getting ripped early on, and guys like Cuomo were looked upon as the heroes, and that tide is starting to turn a little bit. But we'll see. But yeah, no, Florida seems to be, everyone I talk to down there, they're wide open, and the infection rates aren't high, so they seem to be doing okay.
I hate the term infection rate. You know what I mean? It's like a case rate because,
Yeah.
like my daughter, she's 22 years old. She had the sniffles. She was a little tired. She got tested. She came back positive, right? And this causes like a total fire drill. Everyone in my family who was near her in the last 2 weeks is going to get tested and tested and tested and tested. Everyone's negative, but
Yep.
she's positive. We quarantined her. She's locked in the basement. But meantime, 3-4 days later, she's to me, it was like a cold. And to her,
Yeah.
she's like, Daddy, I think I had a bad flu,
Yeah, you're right. It's weird. We went through a couple scares where my wife got tested 3 times in a week because she wasn't feeling good, and negative every time. But that's what puts you in that mindset. All of a sudden, any ailment at all is potential COVID.
Yeah, years
So
ago, throughout history, we had 60 to 75,000, flu deaths every year. And that's on top of, 40, 50,000 pneumonia deaths. And then there's this other thing called influenza-like illness where it wasn't a flu or a cold, but it was something like it. So, you start thinking all those numbers are down. Were all these even COVID? It's like, I don't know. I think Cuomo's bad decisions on the nursing home scared the hell out of the whole nation, and
yeah,
everything became COVID.
yeah. No, you're right. It is funny how that worked. Huh? All those other causes of deaths have gone down. So we'll see. But I think, well, while the numbers are varying state to state, generally things are looking good. And I think as the vaccines continue to get administered and down the road here shortly, we'll probably have a couple more vaccines available. J&J, I think, is close.
Yeah, we're almost there. All right,
Yeah.
Dan Hernandez is with Milestone Wealth Management. You can reach him at dhernandez at lincolninvestment.com. He's with us every Tuesday. You should reach out to him if you want to know what's really going on. Dan, thanks, brother.